What time is it?
Bum-ba-da-bum. You're locked into the Flagship, an Ole Miss podcast powered by College Corner.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Get your daily Rebel sports fix at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com.
Welcome into this Friday edition of the Flagship. I'm your host, Zach Berry. Show brought to you each and every day by our good friends at College Corner. 3 locations now: Oxford, Ridgeland, Flowood. If you can't get to any of those 3, you can check them out, collegecornerstore.com. They take care of us. Scott and the folks will take care of you. They've got everything you need Ole Miss merch-wise. They've got real tree gear. And football's right around the corner. It's already August, so you know that you'll be ready for the Grove here pretty soon. They've got tailgating supplies there too. College Corner, again, the new one in Oxford, brand new, 4,000 plus square feet. It's fantastic. Go check it out. It's on Sisk Avenue. Scott and the folks over there will get you set up for the Grove and get you ready for probably the biggest season in Ole Miss football history. So with that, no better time to bring on a former Ole Miss great, and that is Shay Hodge. He is here. Big news on Wednesday, kind of overshadowed fall camp getting underway, Shay, but Ole Miss signee Deon Smith, he has arrived at Ole Miss. I talked to him Wednesday night. He got there later in the evening. So he told me today that he's hoping to get out there and practice maybe Friday, but if not, it'll be a couple days. But he is there. So we don't have to answer that question anymore. We would get those on the board pretty much every day. So, yeah, man, appreciate you joining the show, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, no problem. Man, I'm doing well. Actually, a little on the weather, so forgive me if I cough or anything.
So, yeah, I mean, the journey was a tumultuous one. He's been through a lot. Signed, committed to Mississippi State, then signed with LSU, played there for a year, went to Holmes, pretty much ripped through junior college football. Number 2 overall junior college player in On3's rankings, signs with Ole Miss. Just Deon as a person going through all the adversity and having to jump through all the hoops and, classroom, staying on top of his game. What was his mindset throughout this whole process?
I would say it was a roller coaster, man. Being a young kid growing up in Jackson, the stigma is there for being, a violent place. A lot of bad things he could have been doing other than playing football, but that's his passion and that's what he wanted to do. So, but the one thing that football does, it brings it shows you how to handle adversity. He done it in football, so I think that's what he done in life. Having to go through, having to change schools. His senior year, they had COVID in Provence, so they didn't play. So he went to Jackson Academy. To going to LSU early, having a pretty good start, but getting hurt, then not being able to manage his time. All of us been to college, most of us have been to college or whatever. That we truly understand it, and I think it all hit him out of fame, hit him too fast, and I'm just glad that he has a second chance, to try to get it right. The kid is exceptionally talented. Great young man. He just gotta grow and keep maturing, and just wishing the best for him, man.
You mentioned the talent. Again, I mentioned earlier, ran through pretty much everybody when he was at Holmes. He had 48 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. In high school, 43 for 1,059 and 19 touchdowns at JA. Average. That
was his junior year at Provine.
That was junior year. Okay.
Yeah.
Average over 30 yards per punt return, almost 40 per kick return. 5A All-State first team. I mean, there's no question. The talent's never been the question. He showed that at LSU. He had some flashes there. He had 2 touchdown catches against Central Michigan, and at the time was a loaded LSU wide receiver room. But leaving LSU, making the decision to go to Holmes, when you were working with him, what was kind of the main things you were attacking to try to prepare him to get back to the SEC and get to Ole Miss?
Well, let me start with him going to Holmes. what he did at Holmes. You know, I was very proud of him because I've had this happen before. It's like living a life over again. I had a couple kids go JUCO, like that one black. He was #1 overall player in JUCO too. Well, Deon's #1 on Rivals. I think he's #2 on 3. But you know, whichever one you get the highest one is the one you always mimic. But just seeing it over, man, just being able to humble himself to go down a level that he, you know, some of them think they don't deserve, they not deserve, they don't think they belong there. So I was proud of him right there for like not looking down upon people and mess up his opportunity to try to make it back. One of the main things I try to do is try to keep his head straight, you know, just talking about life and I think his kids really did it for him, you know, being able to he wasn't working or anything. He was just keeping his kids, you know, just always at home with his kid. He wasn't a kid to run the street. He just played his video game, had his kid, and man, that was just like his little life for a while. Because in between that time of home, there was a time he went to East and had a disagreement with Buddy Stevens. You know, he's had a lot of, man. You just knew the true story. I don't really want to get into depth, but you know the thing that happened at LSU with him getting blackballed out of being there. You know, get a new coach. You look at him. He got 2 kids. He was in a drug program. He flunked. You know, so you look at him as a bad kid, but when you really know Deon, you know like he's a good kid. I mean, it's just like Shay Hodge. I mean, you don't know him if you didn't meet the people in Morton. If he doesn't meet the people in Morton that helped him, you know, get to Ole Miss, you know, to possibly change the way he acted or did things a little different or thought a little bit more before he made a decision, you know. That's what Deon needs, and I think Lane Kiffin and Kevin Bolden and Coach McDonough will give that to him at Ole Miss. But there's one part of that question I'm not answering that I forgot. Tell me, I'm forgetting.
Just, yeah, like what you thought that he needed to work on the most to get ready for this level again?
Yeah, just staying in shape, man. We didn't do a great job of it, but I think he did enough of it. You know, a lot of it, he ran into some bad situations, you know, at home, you know, dealing with his kids. You know, he didn't have a ride. You know, I stayed 30 minutes from him. He was living with me at one point to make everything go by. You know, at the end, he had to move back. You know, it's just a whole bunch of stuff, man. A whole bunch of stuff he went through, man. Like I texted him today, man. I told him, man, I'm proud of you, you know. Because one of the main things I want him to know, being a former athlete that made it to the NFL, you know, is real good, and everybody likes you when you're real good, you know. And I always told him, like, man, everybody that's riding with you really not with you. You know, everybody want to be with the winner, the guy that looks like he's going to make it. You know, everybody like it when you chase him, but everybody don't like it when you got it, when you really him. You know, and I felt like he was getting a lot of fake love, and now that he's went through that roller coaster of what's happened in his life, that he sees who are the real people in his life. So when he does make it to the big leagues, he will know who to bless and who really loved him as a person, not just like, oh, Deon's going to make it to the league. Because there was a time when nobody thought Deon would ever play again.
You mentioned Lane Kiffin and Kelvin Bolden and George McDonald. I don't know if you've talked to Kiffin. He's kind of hard to pin down. I've personally never spoken with him. You know, he kind of, you know, was it Lil Wayne says, G's move in silence like lasagna. I mean, he it's kind of like if he wants to talk to you, he'll talk to you. But you know, he's pretty reserved. But in like your conversations, or you know, with Kiffin or Bolden or McDonald or anyone else on staff, I mean, Ole Miss has been chasing Deon for almost 3 years now. So that was kind of what I kept telling people when they were asking, you know, is it worth it? You know, is this ever going to happen? And I was just like, look, you got to trust the staff. They know better than anybody. If Lane Kiffin wants him, then there's a reason. If he didn't tell you, what do you think that main reason is that Ole Miss wanted Deon Smith on the roster?
Man, I think this is the best way to put it to make it easy to see. Deon different, man. You know, being a former receiver, being a first team IC receiver, man, he way better than I ever was. Think of Justin Jefferson 2.0. Like that is like the best way to think of what Deon is. And this will make it even better for you for any fan that's like looking at it or anything. Look at that wide receiver room at LSU. Where are those dudes at right now? 1, 2 on the first round draft picks. He started in front of both of them. Let's remember that he in front of both of them. He was better than both of them as freshmen. Ain't nothing changed. They just all supposed to be in the league. Like I told Deon, dude, you next. He a one and done type kid. Lane Kiffin. When I talk to Lane Kiffin, you right. G's moving sides. I like that man persona. Like he's smooth, man. He's smooth. We talked before, back in the past. He's tried to hire me before, but I ran into the IWP rule, so we have a pretty good relationship. We haven't talked much since then, but before he signed with no, it wasn't before. Yeah, before he signed with Ole Miss, Lane put a big pitch in for Deon, and we went up there, had basically a secret meeting with him, whatever. He showed him all the film of all the receivers he ever had, and how he used them and how he wanted to use Deon and where they got drafted at and stuff. And man, Deon really wanted to go to Ole Miss out of high school. People don't know that. He had a lifelong dream about LSU, but like at the end, he was like, man, he wanted to play for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. So it's crazy that it came around. He went on to LSU. I thought that was it. I never thought he'd go JUCO. I never thought any of this stuff would happen. So when it happened, I was like, well, dang, he finally do get to do it. So I haven't talked to Lane. Have I talked to Lane? No, I've talked to Bowden. It's really been Bowden for the most part. I haven't met Coach McDonald yet. I haven't made it up there yet. I'm coaching the Jackson Academy, so I'm really tied down doing training and being a regular coach. So Helen Deon. So with the Helen Deon situation and being like a father figure to him, man, it's been tough, but that's what you're in it for, to see a kid make it. Like Ben Craddock told me, man, that's what this all about, just trying to help somebody, being a bridge to get somebody over the edge, to get them to the promised land of what they're supposed to be in life, man. I'm ready to just see what Deon does, man. Again, I'm telling you, he's special, man. That's why Lane Kiffin been wanting for 3 years. Like, that's why, man. Like, he's that dude.
You mentioned the loaded room at LSU when he was there. He's now going to be at Ole Miss, where it's another loaded room. They've got a lot of dudes that do a lot of different things well. I think that's what jumps out to me about the room. You've got Trey Harris, big outside receiver. You've got Juice Wells, who can kind of do it all. You've got some slot guys and Jordan Watkins, Caden Lee. You've got Aiden Williams that's kind of like the Juice Wells, where he can play outside, inside. They picked up some more guys in the portal. But for Deon, and maybe Kiffin said it in the meeting, was there any specific thing, or is it just like, hey, we just want to get you the ball, get you in space kind of deal?
Man, it's a little bit of both. But the thing that why Kiffin wants him a lot, man, he's a deep threat. Like, he's truly tall. He's truly like 6'2", 6'3", real long arms, and the dude can run. Like, I don't know how fast he is, honestly. I think he's going to be, when he comes out and everything's over, I think he'll run probably in the high 4.3s. Like, the kid can really run. But not only that, man, he's a really good route runner. He can bend well to be so tall. And he really smooth. Like, he cuts hard. And in space, man, he learned this over time. Now and I'll tell you a quick story. We went to Auburn, and so I always do like an evaluation of my kids. Like, I got Tristan Keys coming up, Xavier McDonald in the 2026 class, Amari Johnson. So I talked to all of them this way. So we watched a film from his sophomore year going to his junior year, and I was like, when we first started getting his offers, I was like, what's going to set you apart? Like, what's going to make you different from the rest of the receivers? And so we ended up watching. We was at Auburn, and we was watching the boy that went to Georgia, George Pickens. So we was watching George, and George Pickens was catching like short balls and making everybody miss, or just running through, just stiff him or whatever he did to score. Like, he made the first guy miss every single time. So I told Deon, before we ever went to that meeting, I told Deon in our little evaluation, I was like, dude, if you want to be different, yeah, you got the long speed, you can run the post, you can run the go, you got great releases. I said, but the thing that's going to set you apart is, can you catch a short pass and make everybody miss and take it to the crib? And so when the coach at Auburn, which was Cody Burns at the time, he looked back, he told him, and I was sitting behind him, and he looked back at me, and he was like, hey, I know what he was thinking, because, being a former player, I know he was thinking like, man, coach know what he be talking about, So anyway, he put that in his game. That's when you seen that over 1,000 yards his junior year with the 19 touchdowns. A lot of those passes wasn't long. He just made everybody miss, man, and he took it to the crib. So that's the other part. So when you say, do you just want to get in his hands and just let him go? Yes. But do you want to play action and throw the go ball, or play action, throw the post, or just drop back and throw the go ball for 80? He that type of kid. He can. I feel like he can beat you in all ways of the game at the receiver position.
Real quick, we'll take a quick little break from our chat with Shay Hodge. I do want to remind you that this show is also brought to you by our friend Drew Moak and USA Benefits Group. If you're looking to cut those health insurance premiums 20 to 30%, give Drew a call, 601-953-8449. He can get you a free quote when you call him, or check out usabg.com/DMOAK. He works with the nation's second largest health insurance brokerage, and he's got access to 35 carriers. So dental, vision, Medicare, regular health plans, life insurance. He can pretty much do it all. That's Drew Moak at USA Benefits Group. Podcast is also brought to you by our good friends at Home Field Apparel. They are back for another football season, and they're kicking it off with a bang with their 2024 Can't Miss kickoff campaign. It will start August 9th. You do want to set a reminder, August 9th at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Football boxes will be available. They have MVP, VIP packages. Each box will contain 3 never-before-seen items for a school. They're not available anywhere else. So whichever school you're a fan of, whether it's, Ole Miss or just anybody else, you will get 3 never-before-seen merch items curated. So you have new gear to wear all season long for all weather conditions. You'll get either a new hat or a ringer, a VIP koozie, and then they have a 2024 Platinum Pass that can guarantee you 20% off and early access. So no more missing out. If it's sold out, you get that early access, you're going to get it for all releases during the season. The event starts, like I said, on August 9th. 54 schools, 216 new products. Then they have championship week. 5 all-time great teams are being honored. They're adding 5 new schools, and then they've got new bomber jackets and new coaches jackets. Ole Miss is on the list for a new coaches jacket. That will be August 30th. So that's Home Field Apparel. Check them out, homefieldapparel.com. If you don't have anything from the Ole Miss line that was released last year, you can go on there, check it out, and before you hit that payment button, you can put in promo code LASTDANCE24 and get 15% off your first purchase. That's Home Field Apparel at homefieldapparel.com. All right, Shay, I do want to kind of wrap things up here, but as far as what Deon kind of his mindset going through all this, these last couple weeks leading up to, everybody kind of knew that this was, kind of the week where I don't want to call it like Judgment Day, but like it was kind of like, all right, we're going to know one way or the other this week. What was that phone call like when did he call you to tell you the news?
No, I was right here. He had to take it in the room at my house, taking his online classes or whatever. So I knew as soon as he got done. But yeah, man, it was tough, coming down to the nitty gritty. He had to make at least like an 80 something on the finals to end up with a B to get in class. Because what kept happening is he needed A's in his online classes and he kept getting B's. And so it came down to these last 2 classes. He either needed 1 A or 2 B's. So he ended up with an 89 and 86. So he almost 1 A. But yeah, it was. I was gonna feel like a failure. I can't lie. I told Rebel Nation that he's gonna make it, and that I'm gonna make sure. Just staying on him about it and getting him to see the importance of getting ahead of it and everything in it. So yeah, it's a big boulder relieved off my shoulders. I just told myself I was gonna make sure he got there. Whatever happened when he there. That's what Ole Miss and Deon. And like I told him, man, don't bring your butt back to this house. So, yeah, man, I feel like a new man. I got it off my shoulders, and I got other kids to worry about and bring them along the way. And just proud of him, man. Just and his mindset, man. Just knowing Deon's the most competitive kid you ever meet. Most of my all of my best players are competitive, like they're extreme competitors, and so that's the way he's gonna. That's his mindset. All this, he trying to prove everybody wrong. Like he remember a time when people was like, even big time coaches in college and JUCO or whatever, they was like, leave Deion alone. He's never going to make it Ole Miss. He's never going to, he's never going to play again. He's not going to be anything. And I just had that belief that he would, from really knowing him, really being his coach, really living with me, staying with me, doing everything with me like he's my child. So it's like, I really see his heart, other than whatever everybody else see or whatever he's done. So yeah, just overall, man, I'm just happy, and I know his mindset is to go out there and prove everybody wrong, man. He's gonna, with Kiffin's offense, Dart is the quarterback. That whole offense, man, he's gonna be crazy. Just like you said to somebody, probably the best season Ole Miss ever gonna have. They could go undefeated now. They got a kid there. Not saying the other ones can't, but I know for sure they got one there now that can beat a Alabama or Georgia DB, in one-on-one coverage. That's what Kiffin wants. Not saying that the other boys can't. It's just we struggled at it last year. It is what it is.
Yeah, Kiffin said it on Wednesday in the press conference. He said, look out here now at fall camp. We look like an Alabama. We look like a Georgia. So, it's going to be a fun season. The hype is very real, and I think that Ole Miss, I think the players know that, and I think they're taking it. Ole Miss is now the hunted. You're no longer the hunter. You're not going to sneak up on anyone. But I think the players, I get a sense being around that building that they know what's at stake and they're ready to do what it takes. But look, I'm kind of like you with Deon. I didn't do anything. You did all the work, but I kept telling people like he's fine. He's gonna make it. Every time I talked to Deon, I was like, how's it going? He's like, oh, we're good. We're on track. And everybody I talked to, they said the same thing. So when he told me that he was good, he was in, it felt good to post that on the message board and tell everybody. Cause it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it isn't showing how hectic it really was, because at some points I was like, man, is we gonna get there? For real.
Well, he's there now. That's Deon Smith. He will be. He said he's going to try to be out there Friday, but if not, he'll definitely be at fall camp, whether it's Saturday or next week. But just another massively talented player in that wide receiver room. George McDonald's going to have fun working with those guys. So, Shay, we appreciate you coming on, man. This has been fun. I'm sure we'll do it again soon at some point with some of the other talented dudes you're working with that are in Mississippi. But that is Shay Hodge, former Ole Miss wide receiver. Go ahead and I know you're busy. You do a lot of work. Go ahead and plug your stuff, man. Tell everybody where they can find you and find kind of who you're working with and what you're doing.
Got you. Twitter, Facebook, well, not Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram, Shay Hodge 3, or TikTok, same thing, Shay Hodge 3. Facebook, Shay Hodge. Hodge Performance is my company. Mesh Academy, and also my national team, Coastline Stars, got the number 2 team in the whole nation in 707. So that's how you can find me. I also train receivers, train running backs. Had some of the top running backs and top receivers in the nation, especially in Mississippi. So tap in.
All right, buddy. Well, appreciate you. That's going to do it for this episode of the Flagship. We'll have more podcasts coming to you. We got another Ivy League episode, and we'll have more coverage of fall camp at omspirit.com. If you're not a member already, go ahead and sign up. It's only $1. We'd love to have you join the conversation on the board. And look, there's no better time to join than now with this 2024 season coming up for Ole Miss. So that'll do it. We appreciate Shay. We appreciate you tuning in. And, of course, we appreciate College Corner, USA Benefits Group, Rowback, Home Field, everybody. We appreciate y'all. And I will talk to y'all on the next one. So for Shay, I'm Zach. This has been the Flagship. We got